Hello, this is Oliver Lucanus, Conservation Ambassador for Fluval Aquatics. We have looked at many aspects to make your aquarium look more natural. If you've watched a series of different elements like light, rocks, substrate, and wood in nature, you will have noticed that there are key elements that are vital for the natural look in an aquarium. There are two things I think are most important for you to note and apply at home. The first is current. From watching the videos and maybe some videos on my channel, you will have noticed that nearly all of our aquarium fish have more current in their natural habitat than you would expect. That is one of the key takeaways, and I think it is very easy to achieve, as simple as oversizing your filter and maybe increasing the volume of your regular water changes. The second is more subtle, but equally important, to understand the complexity of the habitats. Where fish live, there must be structures. This can mean rocks or wood or plants, but there must be complex structure, and in general, the more intricate the habitat, the greater the number of fishes and their diversity. In this habitat in Brazil, dense plant cover along the bottom, fallen trees, and the root systems of the trees growing along the riverbank create an incredibly complex substrate and a habitat that is very structured. Small fish have plenty of spaces to hide, and predators such as the dorado cannot dive into this area with high speed. This allows the small fish, such as cichlids, enough time to take cover under the plants or in the roots, or form a more dense school that is confusing the predators for most of the tetras. Take a look at this convict pair in a crater lake in Costa Rica. The habitat is relatively homogeneous, but the pair of convicts chose the most complex, structured area to keep their young. This is the place where they can defend the nest the easiest, because one signal from their ventral and anal fins sends the young fish downwards into the crevices between the rocks. The Xingu, the river most famous for the crazy diversity of plecos, higher than anywhere in the world, is in part so species rich because here the bottom of the river has all these incredible structures. There are areas with lava-like rocks full of holes and crevices, areas of rubble with small stones and boulders, and all these small rapids with shallow areas, islands, and bedrock full of fissures. For fish that have to adhere to the rocks when they are feeding with their sucker mouth, this is the perfect scenario. Add in the clear water, which allows the sun to penetrate, and then those nutrients supply algae and microinvertebrates, and you have the perfect conditions for this huge diversity of algae-eating and substrate-oriented fishes. So how does all this translate to fish keeping? We don't want to have aquariums that are dirty, but we want them to be messy. To create an ideal habitat, you want to see structures, not just along the bottom, but also in the middle of the aquarium, and ideally, something should be happening along the surface. That can be plants that produce a shaded area, or a root that connects the substrate with the surface, or a pile of rocks that reaches all the way up to the waterline. Your fish will actually reward you with more interesting behavior, and nearly every species is less shy if they are kept in an aquarium with a lot of structure. Few, really very few of our aquarium fish are true open water species that need to be in an unobstructed open space in the aquarium. Picture your aquarium decorations as three-dimensional objects and try to get away from laying items flat on the bottom. Try to stand wood or rocks upright or staggered on top of each other and create complexity that allows more fish places to hide and more intricate spaces within the aquarium. Think about mounting wood to a PVC plate at the bottom of the aquarium, such as an old cutting board, for example, or think about suspending wood from the top down or have it growing out the side of the aquarium. Give this a try and see if the behavior of your fish changes when you create an environment that has more hiding spaces and more structure in the other part of the aquarium. Thanks for listening to this series, and we will try to take the next videos into a different direction with some tips on breeding common fish and looking at how some of the most popular fish live in nature. Come check out my channel at the link in the description and make sure to like this video and subscribe to Fluval Aquatics.